What's up, everyone? Got a video for y'all today. Before I get started here, I'm gonna light this candle. This is smoked maple whiskey soy wax candle by Citygate. My dad gave me this. Getting into candles, so I'm pretty excited to use this. See if I can reach this shit. There we go. But all right. So I said I wouldn't make a video unless I had a reason to, something to actually update on. Well, I got what I wanted, but I'm just kidding. But fucking, some shit really did happen. So I'm not gonna be dramatic about it, but I'm gonna be accurate. So I think that's helpful. I don't think it's helpful when men, especially, lie about what they go through to try to make it look easy. But yeah, long story short, I ended up in the hospital a couple of days ago. I was in the ER for about 6 hours. I had thrown up what appeared to be blood, and I couldn't keep the ability to keep food down. I was losing a lot of energy. I was kind of shaking, convulsing a little bit. I had really bad chills. I was going in and out of consciousness. I passed out once or twice, and it was a little sketchy. So it was frightening. It was frightening. Luckily, I had people nearby to help me out. Loved ones. You know who you are. I really appreciate the support through that. Shout out my family, and just the people around me that I love, and the people that were there for me. You know who you are. I like to keep my personal life personal, but that was serious, and it obviously had me do a lot of thinking. I'm a huge fan of Rich Piana. Obviously, he inspired this series, and it's no secret that what he put his body through for Bigger by the Day may have contributed, may not have. Also, let's not assume we know things, to some years coming off of that great man's life. And I think that I cannot speak for him, but I am a student of his. I'm a scholar of his work, and I really believe that it wasn't his intention to help people hurt themselves, right? Like, I think I can go on the record to say that wasn't about helping people harm themselves, right? Making harming yourself look cool. And I think there's a fine line for a lot of people between extreme athletics, sacrificing yourself, your body, risking death for glory, the warrior's spirit, and crossing that line into just self-harm, you know what I mean? Just self-injury for the sake of, probably NSSI, non-suicidal self-injury, which, long story short, is an addictive response that the brain will give. Because an intelligent human brain recognizes that after pain comes the painkiller, naturally and chemically, and somebody that is desperate to feel better will hurt themselves as a path to feeling better. That's why people cut themselves. That's why there's really, really graphic, negative, painful forms of self-harm out there. And when I was younger, I engaged in stuff like that. I won't lie about it. So that's why I'm not an expert, but I feel like I can speak on it, because I have lived it and observed people who've lived it and cared about them. So, not to go on a rant, but it's really important for me when I was laying there and thinking about, what I'm doing, the example I'm setting, and what the point of everything is. And, it would have been one thing if I was in the hospital over something that was, I was supposed to be doing. Like if I had hurt myself in the gym, if I had choked on a meal that I was supposed to be eating. But, I'll be honest, I did some shit that I shouldn't have done. I drank some alcohol, I ate some things I shouldn't have ate, I stayed up all night, and I broke a couple rules that I really have for myself. And I think that's something I have to own up to. And that's the lesson I was reminded of once again, is why those rules are in place and why those things can't be negotiated with or broken. So I think I could feel in that moment that whatever I had did that was the mistake I had made wasn't worth whatever consequence I was facing. Now, that's not to say that the people I was hanging out with or the experience I was having wasn't worth, potential, because you don't know what's going to happen in life. And I don't mean it like that, but I think that, drinking that glass of wine and those couple things I put in my stomach that I probably shouldn't have, there was no point to that. All that did was move me farther away from my goals and this, this series itself. It's gonna, it wasn't supposed to be fast, a 2 week thing, but it's only gonna take me that much longer because I lost fucking 4.5 pounds. I just weighed myself 146 pounds. I lost like 4 pounds, and it'll come back or whatever. But it's more about what I was supposed to be doing and how that makes me feel. And I was sitting there, and people lost their lives that day, so I'm not gonna sit here and whine about it, complain about it. And I do feel a sense of appreciation and gratitude for the ability I had to walk out of that hospital, just continue anything, like that's a big deal. But I think, as I sit here now and I say, all right, well, I mean, there's still work to be done, and what am I willing to do and what am I not willing to do? I always think back to that Rich Piana video, Rest in Power, where he says, when he was talking to that guy backstage, and I think it was a pro show, I forget the details, forgive me, but he basically said that this guy was fucking risking death. He was, suicide by stairs every fucking day. He would take insulin, he would take no carbs, and he'd hop on the stairs, and that's who he was competing against. And he realized, he's like, man, I'm not willing to take this that far. And he said, word for word, that's when I made my exit the fuck out of bodybuilding. And I feel like, to look back, it is a bit heartbreaking to see that it still, in one way or another, may have taken his life, but not immediately and directly. And let's be real, the life that he lived and the legacy that he left, if he just died on the fucking stairs one day, that wouldn't be there. So he wasn't wrong for making that choice if that was the fork in the road he saw, and if one looked better for him, and if one was what he was really trying to do. So it's like, if you're really going to learn from people and evolve past them and not glorify their mistakes and actually carry the torch in a real way, I think that stuff's really important. So I get a little amped up, and obviously that's a really important topic to me. But I've decided that I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to give up on my goal to reach this body weight or this size, or to hop on a stage and hopefully beat some motherfuckers that were born bigger than me, you know what I mean? For real, like, because that's part of what this is about for me. But, also, I have to actually get there and be able to enjoy it, and I have to focus, and I have to be healthy, and I have to, remember what really matters. So I need the ability to play music. That's number one for me. I've always said that this physique is for that stage as much as the bodybuilding stage, if not more. Doyle from the Misfits is one of my heroes. Fucking, what more needs to be said? But so yeah, ever since my last video, I've lost some weight, I've lost some ground, but I do feel like I've gained some perspective, some lesson, and that's the truth. And that's what it really looks like when it's not just a fucking highlight reel, when you're being real about it, and you're not just showing the wins, and you show some of the adversity. So that's a challenge I'm looking at right now. A month ago I was bitching because I had tennis elbow, and 3 days ago I was in the fucking hospital. So be careful what you bitch for. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I don't need to come up with catchy one-liners. This is somewhat important, but we should have some fun with it. Can't take yourself too seriously, right? But also can't make a clown out of yourself unless that's your thing. I guess shout out the circus. But that's probably enough for today. I'm gonna be back at it. I mark my words, the next time I make a video, I'll be heavier than I am right now. I'm gonna start slamming food and weights again when it makes sense, and there's music coming out with my spirit in it. So, if you're interested in that, hit me up about it. But shout out my team. Shout out, my coach, who understood I need to take a step away just for a month or two. He's the best coach I've had, Northeast Beast. Can't recommend him enough. No disrespect to everybody else who's coached me, but he's a fucking coach. So, that's real shit. But pardon my French, but at the same time, English is the lingua franca. We'll see for how much longer. So, for the 5th time or whatever, that's it for me today. But be safe, stay dangerous so that you can remain and keep people safe. But yeah, I'll catch y'all.